Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about a pretty hefty subject, and that is of course things happening around crypto in regards to DeFi and also the stablecoin UST. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I just want to ask guys could hit that like button. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate it. So we have been seeing the prices in crypto absolutely just deep diving down to some significant lows. We've been seeing some massive volume and value just pouring in and out of crypto recently. We've been seeing some spikes in prices just for them to spike all the way back down to where they were before. Of course, they've recovered a little bit. On the 7-day span, we are seeing some significant drops in prices, specifically around Luna, 97.68% down on the 7-day span. On the 24-hour span, it is down 93.67%. And you guys could also see which ones are down the most. A ton of altcoins right now are getting absolutely decimated because, of course, Bitcoin is also falling. There's a ton of panic around crypto right now. I just did an update on that, talked to you guys a little bit about it. But today we are going to be talking about if UST was one of the biggest crypto Ponzi schemes to date. So let's just dive in and let's talk about it. So Luna, UST, postmortem. Was it a coordinated attack or a Ponzi? Right? A lot of people have been wondering this. Was it all just a Ponzi scheme? What happened? What was going on with the meltdown with UST and, of course, Luna? What we do see here, On-Chain Wizard explains how the attack could have gone down. We've been addressing this. We've talked about it. We basically talked about how it could have been an inside job from some centralized entities. We're going to be addressing that and also talk about it. But real quick here, we do see here the claims that UST is a scam stem from the lack of adequate measures to mitigate against the associated risk. It also attracted a lot of investment from unsuspecting users. A different faction of Twitter users believe that the UST and Luna crashes were the result of a coordinated attack. Twitter user and crypto analyst On-Chain Wizard came up with a compelling thread explaining how the attack was orchestrated. And I actually shared this thread yesterday and talked about it a little bit in terms of how UST really lost its massive peg to the dollar, which, is something pretty significant when you talk about a stable coin. A lot of people making jokes about it. A lot of people joked around about the Luna situation. But honestly, I do feel for those individuals that did invest into Luna and were holding a significant amount of UST. It is not a funny, joke or anything like that. These are people's life savings on the line. And there was a significant amount invested into UST and also Luna. Now, of course, there's been a lot of talks and a lot of, FUD being spread around USDT as well, Tether. Yesterday, I talked to you guys a little bit about how things could definitely get worse if, of course, Tether was to do the same thing exactly as UST did. And a few people have been making this joke. For example, Crypto Whale, probably one of the most bearish accounts in crypto, probably, one of the major perma bears that do get a lot of engagement. We do see breaking Tether depegging on multiple crypto exchanges, injecting even more fears into the market. And honestly, I would call this concerning if it was, down in cents. But when you look at Tether, it's honestly down like fractions of a cent. It's nothing too concerning. I mean, on the 7-day span, does this look concerning to you guys? Honestly, to me, it really doesn't. It's down like half a cent, which is not much at all. And usually when, again, the crypto market does these massive slides, we will see Tether taking a little bit of a hit. But once it starts to drop cents like UST did, that's when you want to get concerned. Plus, I don't think that people realize the aftermath of USDT crashing like UST would actually be for this market. It would be catastrophic. In fact, I don't believe that the crypto market would fully recover from something like that, and it would take a ton of time in order for it to actually recover as well. And we're not talking about just, a few, I would say a select thousands of individuals losing massive amounts of wealth. We're talking about the entire crypto asset class as a whole literally losing their net worth profits on crypto entirely from going back years ago. We're talking like years and years ago. So again, just for everyone's, insights on where UST is compared to USDT, I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about market dominance. But of course, UST taking a 74% slide down all the way down to roughly, it was like 26 cents was something pretty significant. Like I said, this is a stable coin. It's supposed to sit at around $1 range. Of course, an attack on the liquidity was a key thing here. We've broken it down. A lot of people did suspect that it could be BlackRock and Citadel. We're going to be addressing that as well. But then, of course, you look at the USD or the UST dominance, right? And you look at this chart, and this is the dominance that UST has over this market. And this started to climb drastically back in the 2021 timeframe. It started sideways, but then it started to really climb during that time frame. And then when Luna started to really take off, that's when this started to take off as well. And this does currently have about 1.25% market dominance. Now, I'm not saying that the entire market drop was because of the entire Luna and UST sort of situation. Absolutely not. But I definitely do think that it fueled the fire. I think that we were initially dropping, but this definitely did help fully push the prices down to some even more extents because, of course, Terra needed to sell their Bitcoin, which was 42,000 Bitcoin. So imagine just market selling essentially 42,000 Bitcoin. I mean, it would drop the price drastically during that time. And again, as everybody else was panicking and selling at the same time, it just caused a massive chaotic move in the market. And of course, we did see the fear being analyzed there. Now, imagine if Tether, right? Tether. Now, we're talking about the number 3 asset, the stable coin of choice for a lot of individuals. Because, of course, besides Tether, there is also USDC, which we will address here shortly. But we look at Tether, right, having an $83 billion market cap, but also having a 6.25% market dominance over this market. Now, we know what the repercussions of UST and Luna were, but just imagine what the repercussions of Tether crashing would be. Now, do I believe that Tether is going to be next in line for a massive attack on it? It's possible, right? Because, again, everyone is looking at institutions jumping into crypto and, again, looking at it as a great thing, but it could also be a bad thing where we do have, malicious players in this space. First off, we go back in time a little bit to April 12th. BlackRock, Fidelity, and others to invest $400 million in USDC stablecoin issuer Circle. Now, if you were, jumping into something like Circle, you would want to bet against its competitors. What are its competitors? Well, USDT, UST, it's pretty significant. We look here, right? Circle, a crypto-focused financial technology firm, has entered an agreement for a $400 million funding round, the company announced. It is expected to close in the second quarter of 2022. Investors in the round include BlackRock, Fidelity Management and Research, Marshall Wace, and Finn Capital. Now, when we talk about this, right, USDC is just a stablecoin, backed one-to-one, pegged to the dollar, similar to all of these other stablecoins. The difference between USDC and, of course, something like Tether or UST is its reserve backing. We do see here, in addition to the capital raise, BlackRock has entered a strategic partnership with Circle to be its primary asset manager of USDC cash reserves and explore capital market applications for its stablecoin, among other objectives. Now, of course, BlackRock does have the capital to back something like this in terms of cash reserves because BlackRock is a $10 trillion asset under management company. Now, if we look at USDT or even UST, they are backed by certain reserves. For an example, Tether claims to be backed by Bitcoin and other cash reserves. We looked at UST. It was backed mainly by Bitcoin. 42,000 Bitcoin was held in terms of Terra. And, a lot of that is still backed by cash, if you will. They still hold cash equivalents, but it's not fully backed the way that USDC is in terms of its cash reserves, like by something like BlackRock, right? That does have massive amounts of wealth there to actually reserve the price in terms of backing it. Now, we do see our broader strategic partnership with BlackRock announced today will allow us to explore new use cases where USDC may be an efficient resource in the financial services value chain. So, of course, this was a fairly significant, partnership. And, of course, they are talking about USDT down here as well. It's the second largest stablecoin behind USDT and the 5th largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization. And its market capitalization rose about 370% year over year from $10.82 billion to $50.83 billion. And about $5 billion in volume has been traded in the past 24 hours, up over 39%. Now, as we do see down here, they are talking about the milestone, how great it is in terms of the demand for, digital dollars and things like that. They don't really talk too much about other stable coins, but if you were somebody like BlackRock or, some other major, company that was investing money into something like USDC and backing it essentially in terms of reserves, you'd bet against other stablecoins. That's why a lot of people thought that, of course, BlackRock and Citadel essentially were the ones that were attacking Luna. Now, of course, this article I read in an earlier video from today, where it was talking more so about market manipulation. Is this the truth? We don't really know, but we know that Gemini said that they essentially did not make a loan of 100K Bitcoin to large institutional counterparties, specifically BlackRock and Citadel. As they are saying in this article here, BlackRock and Citadel borrowed 100,000 Bitcoin from Gemini. It appears in their loan book, but we actually seen Gemini say that there is no such loan. But I would say this, although there is not a specific loan here, I would still assume that there was some sort of market manipulation going on behind the scenes, and I would say that Terra was fully attacked. I don't believe that this was, a Ponzi scheme. I think that the overall situation here was that they attacked a critical area that Terra was not really focused on, or at least Terra knew. They just didn't expect somebody to actually attack it. But this is, at the end of the day, crypto, an unregulated space where basically anything can actually happen. Now, of course, what are the repercussions of this? Well, not only did it hurt the entire market in terms of just crypto entirely, it hurt, DeFi, a major sector where a ton of value is actually locked for crypto. In fact, DeFi actually holds accountable $68 billion in terms of market capitalization. And of course, you do see the chart here in terms of the index perpetual futures. It absolutely got decimated. This actually has been in a downswing since May of 2021. We have not gotten back to those significant levels. So when we look at this, this absolutely killed the DeFi market. This is also why I'm betting on a few DeFi tokens, specifically, Chainlink. I told you guys about my Chainlink position. I still continue to hold that position still right now, even in a little bit of a net loss. But I will say this, okay? As we do see this massive, situation happen, and we're seeing DeFi getting absolutely killed right now. We do see decentralized finance protocols are having a hard time weathering the storm, as the total value locked in DeFi today is down 39.26% since April 3rd, from $230 billion to current $139 billion. Now, this goes back 28 minutes ago. When we actually look at DeFi right now, again, on CoinMarketCap, the DeFi market cap is a little bit different. Of course, when we look at this, it's like 68 billion. It could roughly be like around like 139 billion. But yeah, I think that the sudden drop in, Luna and UST definitely did help shed a ton of value off of DeFi in general. I think that this is probably one of the biggest situations in crypto that we've seen in a very long time. I think that this will go down in history as probably one of the biggest, either one, Ponzi schemes, or two, attacks on a crypto company. I think that this definitely is something that hurt crypto. You look at the prices today compared to just, a few days ago, and things were completely different. In fact, it almost looked like Bitcoin was bottoming out around like the 33K region before, of course, this situation did happen. I think that things could get a little bit, worse for Luna and UST. We're still seeing Luna down. It's breaking below the $2 range. We've seen it hit 83 cents, losing nearly all of its value going back as far as roughly, 2021, the starting point. And, it is rough, especially for those individuals that did invest into Terra and also even into holding UST, right? Because, again, a stable coin for most individuals, to them, means like holding the fiat dollar. It's back, 1-to-1. But when you see a stable coin lose massive amounts of, percentages, we're talking about 74 cents on the dollar, that hurts a ton of individuals. Think about it like this, right? Think about holding $10,000 backed 1-to-1 to the dollar, just for the dollar to drop 74 cents. That's 74 cents on every single dollar held. That is a significant range. So again, do I believe that this was one of the biggest Ponzi schemes in crypto to date? No, I don't believe so. I think that this was a pre-planned attack. I think that it was coordinated fairly well, and I definitely think that it attacked Terra's full-on weaknesses and weakness points. But we definitely have to see what happens from here. I think that there's going to be a lot of, YouTube videos made on this. I think that there's going to be a lot of, threads on Twitter being made around this. There might even be a movie made around this, because we've known that there's been a lot of movies being made around crypto, specifically about Silk Road, and even, of course, just recently the Ethereum, sort of vision that was getting made. I forgot where I seen that, but apparently that was in, production. But there's been a lot of movies being made around crypto, and I definitely think that this one is probably going to be one. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.